Chapter 2 Biological Classification. Since the dawn of civilization, there have been many attempts to classify living organisms. It was done instinctively, not using criteria that were scientific but born out of a need to use organisms for our own use, for food, for shelter and clothing. Aristotle was the earliest to attempt a more scientific basis for classification. He used simple morphological characters to classify plants into trees, shrubs, and herbs. He also divided animals into two groups, those which had red blood and those that did not. In Linnaeus' time, a two-kingdom system of classification with Plantae and Animalia kingdom was developed that included all plants and animals respectively. This system did not distinguish between the eukaryotes and prokaryotes, unicellular and multicellular organisms, and photosynthetic and non-photosynthetic organisms. Classification of organisms into plants and animals was easily done and was easy to understand, but a large number of organisms did not fall into either category. Hence, the two-kingdom classification used for a long time was found indicate. Besides gross morphology, a need was also felt for including other characteristics like cell structure, nature of wall, mode of nutrition, habitat, methods of reproduction, evolutionary relationships, etc. Classification systems for the living organisms have hence undergone several changes over the time. Though plant and animal kingdoms have been a constant under all different systems, the understanding of what group or organisms be included under these kingdoms have been changing. The number and nature of other kingdoms have also been understood differently by different scientists over the time. R. H. Whitaker, 1969, proposed a five-kingdom classification. The kingdoms defined by him were named Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae and Animalia. The main criteria for classification used by him include cell structure, body organization, mode of nutrition, reproduction and phylogenetic relationships. Table 2.1 gives a comparative account of different characteristics of the five kingdoms. The three-domain system has also been proposed that divides the kingdom Monera into two domains, leaving the remaining eukaryote kingdoms in the third domain and thereby a sixth kingdom classification. You will learn about this system in detail at higher classes. Let us look at this five kingdom system classification to understand the issue and considerations that influenced the classification system. Earlier classification system included bacteria, blue-green algae, fungi, mosses, ferns, gymnosperms, and the angiosperm under plants. The character that unified this whole kingdom was that all the organisms included had a cell wall in their cells. This placed together groups which widely differed in other characteristics. It brought together the prokaryotic bacteria and the blue-green algae or cyanobacteria with the other group which were eukaryotic. It also grouped together the unicellular organisms and the multicellular ones. Say, for example, Chlamydomonas and Spirogyra were placed together under algae. The classification did not differentiate between the heterotrophic group fungi and the autotrophic green plants, though they also shown a characteristic different in their walls composition. The fungi had chitin in their cell walls, while the green plants had a cellulosic cell wall. When such characteristics were considered, the fungi were placed in a separate kingdom, kingdom fungi. All prokaryotic organisms were grouped together under kingdom Monera, and the unicellular eukaryotic organisms were placed in kingdom Protista. Kingdom Protista has brought together Chlamydomonas, Chlorella, earlier placed in algae within plants and both having cell walls, with Paramecium and Amoeba, which were earlier placed in the animal kingdom, which lacked cell wall. It has put together organisms which in earlier classifications were placed in different kingdoms. This happened because the criteria for classification changed. This kind of changes will take place in future too, depending on the improvement in our understanding of characteristics and evolutionary relationships. Over the time, an attempt has made to evolve a classification system which reflects not only the morphological, physiological, and reproductive similarities but is also phylogenetic. For example, it is based on evolutionary relationships. In this chapter, we will study characteristics of kingdom Monera, Protista, fungi of Whittaker's system of classification. The kingdoms Plantae and Animalia, commonly referred to as a plant and animal kingdoms respectively, will be dealt separately in chapter 3 and 4. Heading 2.1 Kingdom Monera. Bacteria are the sole members of the kingdom Monera. They are the most abundant microorganisms. Bacteria occur almost everywhere. Hundreds of bacteria are present in a handful of soil. They also live in extreme habitats such as hot springs, deserts, snow, deep oceans, where very few other life forms can survive. Many of them live in or on the organisms as parasites. Bacteria are grouped under 4 categories based on their shape: the spherical coccus or cocci, rod-shaped bacillus or bacilli, the comma-shaped vibrium or vibrio, the spiral spirillum, spiralia are shown figure 2.1. Heading 2.1.1 Archaebacteria. These bacteria are special since they live in some of the most harassed habitat, such as extreme salty areas is called halophils, in hot springs is thermoacidophils, and in marshy areas is methanogens. Archaebacteria differ from other bacteria in having a different cell wall structure, and this feature is responsible for their survival in extreme conditions. Methanogens are present in the gut of several ruminant animals such as cows, buffaloes, and they are responsible for the production of methane or biogas from the dung of these animals. Heading 2.1.2 Eubacteria. There are thousands of different eubacteria or true bacteria. They are characterized by the presence of a rigid cell wall and, if motile, a flagellum. The cyanobacteria is also referred to as a blue-green algae, have chlorophyll A similar to green plants and are photosynthetic autotrophs. The cyanobacteria are unicellular, colonial, filamentous, freshwater or marine or terrestrial algae. The colonies are generally surrounded by gelatinous sheath. They often form blooms in polluted water bodies. Some of these organisms can fix atmospheric nitrogen in specialized cells called heterocytes, for example nostoc and anabina. Chemosynthetic autotrophic bacteria oxidize various inorganic substances such as nitrates, nitrites and ammonia and use the released energy for their ATP production. They play a great role in recycling nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, iron and sulfur. Heterotrophic bacteria are most abundant in nature. The majority are important decomposers. Many of them have a significant impact on human affairs. They are helpful in making curd from milk, production of antibiotics, fixing nitrogen in legume roots, etc. Some are pathogens causing damage to human beings, crops, farm animals and pets. Cholera, typhoid, tetanus, citrus canker are well-known diseases caused by different bacteria. Bacteria reproduce mainly by fission. Sometimes under unfavorable conditions, they produce spores. They also reproduce by a sort of sexual reproduction by adopting a primitive type of DNA transfer from one bacterium to the other. The mycoplasma are organisms that completely lack a cell wall. They are the smallest living cells known and can survive without oxygen. Many mycoplasma are pathogenic in animals and plants. Heading 2.2 Kingdom Protista. All single-celled eukaryotes are placed under Protista, but the boundaries of this kingdom are not well defined. What may be a photosynthetic protistian to one biologist may be a plant to another. In this book, we include chrysophytes, dinoflagellates, euglenoids, and slime molds and protozoans under Protista. Members of Protista are primarily aquatic. This kingdom forms a link with the other dealing with plants, animals, and fungi. Being eukaryotes, the Protistan cell body contains a well-defined nucleus and other membrane-bounded organelles. Some have flagella or cilia. Protistas reproduce asexually and sexually by a process involving cell fusion and zygote formation. Heading 2.2.1 Chrysophytes. This group includes diatoms and golden algae, desmids. They are found in fresh water as well as in marine environments. They are microscopic and float passively in water currents. Most of them are photosynthetic. In diatoms, the cell wall forms two thin overlapping cells which fit together as in a soap box. The walls are embedded with silica and thus the walls are indestructible. Thus, diatoms have left behind a large amount of cell wall deposits in their habitat. This accumulation over billions of years is referred to as a diatomaceous earth. Being gritty, this soil is used in polishing, filtration of oils and syrups. Diatoms are the chief producers in the ocean. Heading 2.2.2 Dinoflagellates. These organisms are mostly marine and photosynthetic. They appear yellow, green, brown and blue or red depending on the main pigments present in their cells. The cell wall has stiff cellulose plates on the outer surface. Most of them have two flagella. One lies longitudinally and the other transversely in a furrow between the cell wall plates. Very often, red dinoflagellates, for example goniolacs, undergo such rapid multiplication that they make the sea appear red, is called red tides. Toxin released by such large number may even kill other marine animals such as fishes. Heading 2.2.3 Euglenoids. Majority of them are freshwater organisms found in stagnant water. Instead of a cell wall, they have a protein-rich layer called pellicle which makes their body flexible. They have two flagella, a short and a long one. Though they are photosynthetic in the presence of sunlight, when deprived of sunlight they behave like heterotrophs by predating on other smaller organisms. Interestingly, the pigments of euglenoids are identical to those present in higher plants. Example, Euglena. Heading 2.2.4 Slime molds. Slime molds are saprophytic protists. The body moves along decaying twigs and leaves engulfing organic material. Under suitable conditions, they form an aggregation called plasmodium, which may grow and spread over several feet. During unfavorable conditions, the plasmodium differentiates and forms fruiting bodies bearing spores at their tips. The spores possess true walls. They are extremely resilient and survive for many years. Even under adverse conditions, the spores are dispersed by air currents. Heading 2.2.5 Protozoans. All protozoans are heterotrophs and live as a predator or parasites. They are believed to be primitive relative of animals. There are four major groups of protozoans. First, amoeboid protozoans. These organisms live in freshwater, seawater or moist soil. They move and capture their prey by putting out pseudopodia or false feet, as in amoeba. Marine forms have silica cells on their surface. Some of them, such as ant amoeba, are parasites. Flagellated protozoans. The members of this group are either free-living or parasite. They have flagella. The parasitic forms causes diseases such as sleeping sickness. Example, trypanosoma. Ciliated protozoans. These are aquatic, actively moving organisms because of the presence of thousands of cilia. They have a cavity gullet that opens to the outside of the cell surface. The coordinated movement of rows of cilia causes the water laden with food to be stirred into the gullet. Example, paramecium. Sporozoans. This includes diverse organisms that have an infectious spore-like stage in their life cycle. The most notorious is Plasmodium, which causes malaria, a disease which has a staggering effect on human population. Heading 2.3 Kingdom Fungi. The fungi constitute a unique kingdom of heterotrophic organisms. They show a great diversity in morphology and habitat. You must have seen fungi on a moist bread and rotten fruits. The common mushroom you eat and toadstools are also fungi. White spots seen on mustard leaves are due to a parasitic fungus. Some unicellular fungi, for example yeast, are used to make bread and beer. Other fungi cause disease in plants and animals. Wheat rust causing Puccinia is an important example. Some are the source of antibiotics like penicillium. Fungi are cosmopolitan and occur in air, water, soil and on animals and plants. They prefer to grow in warm and humid places. Have you ever wondered why we keep food in the refrigerator? Yes, it is to prevent food from going bad due to bacterial and fungal infections. With the exception of yeasts, which are unicellular, fungi are filamentous. Their bodies consist of long, slender, thread-like structures called hyphae. The structures of hyphae is known as mycelium. Some hyphae are continuous tube filled with multinucleated cytoplasm. These are called sinusotic hyphae. Others have septi or cross walls in their hyphae. The cell walls of fungi are composed of chitin and polysaccharides. Most fungi are heterotrophic and absorb soluble organic matter from dead substrates and hence are called saprophytes. Those that depend on living plants and animals are called parasites. They can also live as symbionts in association with algae as lichens and with the roots of higher plants as mycorrhiza. Reproduction in fungi can take place by vegetative means, fragmentation, fission and buddings. Asexual reproduction is by spores called conidia or sporangiospore or zoospores, and sexual reproduction is by oospores, ascospores and basidiospores. The various spores are produced in distinct structures called fruiting bodies. The sexual cycle involves the following three steps. First, fusion of protoplasm between two motile or non-motile gametes called plasmogamy. Second, fusion of two nuclei called karyogamy. Third, meiosis in zygote resulting in haploid spores. When a fungus reproduces sexually, two haploid hyphae of compatible mating type come together and fuse. In some fungi, the fusion of two haploid cells immediately results in diploid cells 2N. However, in other fungi like Ascomycetes and Basidiomycetes, an intervening dikaryotic stage occur, N plus N or 2 nuclei per cell. Such a condition is called a dikaryon and the phase is called dikaryophase of fungus. Later the parental nuclei fuse and cells become diploid. The fungi form fruiting bodies in which reduction division occur, leading to formation of haploid spores. The morphology of the mycelium, mode of spore formation and fruiting bodies form the basis for the division of the kingdom into various classes. Heading 2.3.2 Ascomycetes. Commonly known as sac fungi, the Ascomycetes are mostly multicellular, for example penicillium, or rarely unicellular, for example yeast Saccharomyces. They are saprophytic, decomposers, parasitic or coprophilous. Mycelium is branched and septate. The asexual spores are conidia produced exogenously on special mycelium called conidiospores. Conidia on germination produce mycelium. Sexual spores are called ascospores, which are produced endogenously in sac like asci. These asci are arranged in different type of fruiting bodies called ascocarps. Some examples are Aspergillus, Claviceps, Neurospora. Neurospora is used extensively in biochemical and genetic work. Many members like morels and truffles are edible and are considered delicacies. Heading 2.3.3 Basidiomycetes. Commonly known forms of Basidiomycetes are mushrooms, bracket fungi and puffballs. They grow in soil, on logs and tree stumps, and in living plant bodies as parasites. Example rusts and smuts. The mycelium is branched and septate. The asexual spore are generally not found, but vegetative reproduction by fragmentation is common. The sex organs are absent, but plasmogamy is brought about by fusion of two vegetative and somatic cells of different strengths and genotypes. The resultant structure is dikaryotic, which ultimately gives rise to basidium. Karyogamy and meiosis takes place in basidium, producing 4 basidiospores. The basidiospores are exogenously produced on the basidium, plural basidia. The basidia are arranged in fruiting bodies called basidiocarps. Some common members are agaricus mushroom, Astilago smut, and Puccinia rust fungus. Heading 2.3.4 Deuteromycetes. Commonly known as imperfect fungi because only the asexual or vegetative phases of these fungi are known. When the sexual form of these fungi were discovered, they were moved into classes they rightly belong to. It is also possible that the asexual and vegetative stages have been given one name and places under Deuteromycetes, and the sexual stages another, placed under another classes. Later, when the linkages are stabilized, the fungi were correctly identified and moved out of Deuteromycetes. Once perfect stages of members of Deuteromycetes were discovered, they were often moved to Ascomycetes and Basidiomycetes. The Deuteromycetes reproduce only by sexual spores known as conidia. The mycelium is septate and branched. Some members are saprophytes and parasites, while a large number of them are decomposers of litter and help in mineral cycling. Some examples are Alternaria, Coleotrichum and Trichoderma. Heading 2.4 Kingdom Plantae. Kingdom Plantae includes all eukaryotic chlorophyll containing organisms commonly called plants. A few members are partially heterotrophic, such as insectivorous plants or parasites. Bladderwort and Venus flytrap are examples of insectivorous plants, and Cuscuta is a parasite. The plant cells have eukaryotic structures with prominent chloroplast and cell wall mainly made of cellulose. You will study the eukaryotic cell structure in detail in chapter 8. Plantae includes algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms and angiosperms. Life cycle of plants has two distinct phases, the diploid saprophytic and haploid gametophytic. Life cycle of plants has two distinct phases, the diploid sporophytic and haploid gametophytic. They alternate with each other. The lengths of the haploid and diploid phases and whether these phases are free living or dependent on others vary among different groups in plants. The phenomenon is called alternation of generation. Heading 2.5 Kingdom Animalia. This kingdom is characterized by heterotrophic eukaryotic organisms that are multicellular and their cells lack cell walls. They directly or indirectly depend on plants for food. They digest their food in an internal cavity and store food reserves as glycogen or fat. Their mode of nutrition is holozoic. By ingestion of food, they follow a definite growth pattern and grow into adults that have a definite shape and size. Higher forms show elaborate sensory and neuromotor mechanism. Most of them are capable of locomotion. The sexual reproduction is by copulation of male and female followed by embryological development. Salient features of various phyla are described in chapter 4. Heading 2.6 viruses, viroids, prions, and lichens. In the five kingdom classification of Whitaker, there is no mention of lichens and some acellular organisms like viruses, viroids, and prions. These are briefly introduced here. All of us who have suffered the ill effect of common cold or flu know what effect viruses can have on us, even if we don't associate it with our condition. Viruses did not find a place in classification since they are not considered truly living. If we understand living as those organisms that have a cell structure, the viruses are non-cellular organisms that are characterized by having an inert crystalline structure outside the living cell. Once they infect a cell, they take over the machinery of the host cell to replicate themselves, killing the host. The name virus, that means venom or poisonous fluid, was given by Dmitry Ivanovsky, 1892, recognized certain microbes as casual organisms of the mosaic disease of tobacco. These were found to be smaller than bacteria because they passed through bacteria-proof filters. M.W. Beijerinck, 1898, demonstrated that the extract of the infected plants of tobacco could cause infection in healthy plants and called the fluid as contagium vivum fluidum, infectious living fluid. W. M. Stanley, 1935, showed that viruses could be crystallized, and crystals consist largely of proteins. They are inert outside their specific host cell. Viruses are obligate parasites. In addition to proteins, viruses also contain genetic material that could be either RNA or DNA. No virus contains both RNA and DNA. A virus is a nucleoprotein and the genetic material is infectious. In general, viruses that infect plants have single-stranded RNA, and viruses that infect animals have either single or double-stranded RNA or double-stranded DNA. Bacterial viruses or bacteriophages are usually double-stranded DNA viruses. The protein coat called capsid, made of small subunits called capsomeres, protects the nucleic acid. These capsomeres are arranged in helical or polyhedral geometry forms. Viruses cause disease like mumps, smallpox, herpes, and influenza. AIDS in humans is also caused by a virus. In plants, the symptoms can be mosaic formation, leaf rolling and curling, yellowing and vein clearing, dwarfing and stunted growth. Viroids. In 1971, T.O. Diner discovered a new infectious agent that was smaller than viruses and caused potato spindle tuber disease. It was found to be a free RNA. It lacked the protein coat that is found in viruses, hence the name viroid. The RNA of the viroid was a low molecular weight. Prions. In modern medicine, certain infectious neurological diseases were found to be transmitted by an agent consisting of abnormally folded protein. The agent was smaller in size to viruses. These agents were called prions. The most notable diseases caused by prions are bovine spongiform encephalopathy (BSE), commonly called mad cow disease in cattle, and its analogous variant CR Jacob disease (CJD) in humans. Lichens. Lichens are symbiotic associations, for example, mutually useful associations between algae and fungi. The algal component is known as phycobiont and fungal component as mycobiont, which are autotrophic and heterotrophic respectively. Algae prepare food for fungi, and fungi provide shelter and absorb minerals, nutrients, and water for its partner. So close in their association that if one saw a lichen in nature, one would never imagine that they have two different organisms within them. Lichens are very good pollution indicators. They do not grow in polluted areas.